Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm spiritual coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this podcast, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. It is all about my work and all about my upcoming events. And you can schedule an appointment on every page. Just hit the button. And for those of you who listen every week, thank you. I appreciate your comments, your feedback, your suggestions for topics. And always feel free to suggest a topic. I always say if I don't know a lot about the topic, it gives me the opportunity to learn. And that I'm all about that. And also know that I'm on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp, and I'm on Facebook under Lisa M. Hopp, Spiritual Coach and Medium. All right, today's topic, it happens to land on All Souls Day. And it's also a day that is celebrated by the Mexican Latino culture, the Day of the Dead celebration. Yesterday was celebrating children. Today is celebrating our departed loved ones. And as it turns out, I happen to be hosting an event at my office. It's the annual Day of the Dead celebration where we do celebrate our loved ones. We bring photographs to our altar table, favorite food, and we work on connecting into their energy. So this today is an actual special All Souls Day podcast rendition because I want to encourage you, as I have before, to understand, know, feel, be aware that your departed loved ones are always around you. They may not be with you all at once, meaning all of them, but there is at least one or more of them with you at all times. Because they are now energy, as you are energy in a physical body. And you may not always be aware that you're energy, by the way, because our physical body really takes over. Our physical three-dimensional body that feels our organs, that feels worry, that feels stress, all those emotions about survival that we can feel. That is not eternal, okay? The only thing that is eternal is the energetic part of you that feels love, that feels gratitude, that feels compassion, that feels all the blessings. So if you've listened to this podcast for quite a while, you know that I'm always encouraging you to tap in to that pure energetic being that you are. Because that pure energetic being is you of heaven. It's you of other realms. And when you're tied in to that part of you, that's when you receive blessings, multiple blessings, increased blessings, whether it be in the way of finances, health, or in love relationships. You know, there's always things that happen that cause us to grow, to give us lessons. So I'm not saying that when you're tied in to the connection to heaven, to that higher consciousness of yourself, that all your issues go away. They don't. But you are perceiving them and finding solutions to them from your highest consciousness. You really cannot find a solution to three-dimensional issues through feeling three-dimensional, because you're in the energy of the problem, of the issue too much. In order to find the solution, to open to solution, to get the ahas, to get the momentum of moving forward, you have to be higher. You have to be in alignment with the source that provides all answers, that provides all love, that provides the compassion, the higher source. And when you're tapped into higher source, you receive what to do. That's why meditation is so important. That's why centering yourself without even formal meditation is so important, because you're tapping in to your true energetic being. Now, the wonderful thing is that those who have crossed into that other realm of heaven, which, by the way, is just right around you, it's not way up in the sky, they've already shed that three-dimensional and they have understanding, and they have ability to help you. They also no longer worry. They no longer judge. They no longer are tied to the material like they were on earth. So they are 24/7 or more, because they really don't have time. We really don't have time, by the way. Yes, last night in my region we had to turn back our clocks, and it's so delusional because we're manipulating a time that doesn't exist. All right. So in their world, they have plenty of in the present moment to be able to help you, and to be tied always to that higher consciousness. That's where they are now. So they don't have to be like us, where they have to meditate or they have to focus and have discipline. It's just naturally who they are. They've shed the impediment. They've shed the block. They've shed the obstacles that we have to overcome all the time in order to be in touch with our highest selves. And gosh, that's why honestly it's paradise for them, true. And among other reasons, but that's why. So at this time, it is so wonderful to celebrate, because our departed loved ones, like us, are eternal. All we do when we transition, when our physical body is done, all we do is shed it. And then we go on to the realm of heaven, God, departed loved ones, higher consciousness. And again, we do it as a transition where we reside there. We're not just visiting there like we can do through meditation or visiting a medium. We are actually residing there as they are. And again, that's so wonderful. But what I love also about this time of, and why I implemented an annual Day of the Dead celebration, is that years ago, gosh, almost, I would say 20 years ago, I saw a news story about the Day of the Dead celebration. And what I loved is the honoring and the celebration, not the mourning, not the way that we can be when someone passes, which is natural. We miss them. We miss their physical presence. And it's important to go through the grieving process. But what I loved is the celebration of ancestors, of gratitude, of blessings, of honoring. And so I thought, wow, I want that. I want that for myself when I pass over. I want people to do that. And I want others, to understand how important that is. It's the way it should be. Honestly, it's the way it's wanted by our departed loved ones in heaven. They don't want us to grieve. They want us to know they're there with us, and to connect to us, and to talk to them, and to, include them in a healthy way in our everyday lives. Recently, I have been at funerals, and I was very happy and I want to use the term happy, not happy to be at the funeral, of course, but I was so pleased at the celebration of life, the true celebration, and the stories, the tears, but also the tears mixed with laughter. You see, years ago, a family member passed, many years ago now, and it was kind of like a party, and their spouse said that, I want it to be this way because that's who they were, and that's how they enjoyed life, and that's the way of honoring them. And it's very important for that. Sometimes we see people at these moments that we don't see for years. We only see them when someone passes. Perhaps we see them at a wedding or something like that. So it's very important to have that warmth, to have that coming together, to remember, to console, and to celebrate, to celebrate. I remember also years ago, I was a big sports fan, and there are people, their loved ones wore jerseys to the funeral. There is absolutely never anything wrong with that. It is a way of honoring their love, their dedication, their commitment, their personality. It is so important to honor the personality. You don't have to dress them up in a dress and a suit if that's not who they were. We honor the blessing of them being in our lives. We honor and celebrate the fact that they're back in that energy where all worry is gone and there is only peace, understanding, and ever-growing love. Because heaven is immeasurable love. It's the love that you feel when you have joy that brings you to tears. Joy that brings you to tears. Love that brings you to tears. It is that multiplied. So it is so important to celebrate just having them in our lives and knowing them, even if it's knowing them for a brief amount of time. Today, I'm once again celebrating a friend who passed almost 6 years ago now. And I feel so grateful that they entered my life, exited my life, and came back into my life. And they came back into my life in a way that was such an honor for me, because they honored me with their friendship. And I will always be grateful in words that are not, I'll never find the right words for that gratitude. And every once in a while, I throw up a message to them now. Heaven hears our thoughts and feels us in every way and hears our words. So when I throw up a message to them, I know they know it's coming. I know they know that and they may move me to do it, but I still speak out loud to them. It's like I call it a one-way memo. I throw it out. And when I throw it out to them, I will often get a sign that they've heard me. The sign is just a song that comes synchronistically. And so pay attention. I've had a license plate appear in front of me out of nowhere after I've thrown up a memo. I've heard a voice after I've thrown up a memo. Now, if you look for it, you don't get it because we can block because we're looking. It's important to let it go. Letting it go, by the way, is the key to everything. Let it go. When you're talking to heaven, let it go. In life, letting it go. And if you do that, you get abundant rewards. So even recently, I've thrown up to this very beloved friend a message and have gotten a response. And then I respond with, oh, thank you. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. And I know they're going to have a uproarious laugh and just everything about their personality multiplied. And a come on in. And I love that. Because we want to be welcomed by our loved ones. And not just, you will be welcomed, by the way, not just by the ones you expect and hope to be welcomed by, but you'll get surprises. You'll get surprises. Because we don't know our full impact. I try to be aware of my full impact, and I'm human. I have moments, because people have beliefs and perceptions. So moments with people can be impacted by their own belief systems. I've heard this said to me, but personally, not professionally, thankfully, you must be feeling this, or you're thinking this. And I'm not. We should never assume what another person is thinking or feeling. We only should always be doing our best. Okay? Doing our best. And your best is enough. And if you have a moment where you're not doing your best, it's all right. You just do your best again. You don't ever beat yourself up or be overly critical in any way. And it's very important not to be overly critical of another or assume. You've heard that statement about assuming and what it means. Probably, right? Yeah. What I do when something's going on nowadays in my wisdom is that I'll back up. Before I assume, I'll back up and see, well, what could be going on here? Where could they be coming from? Because I may not know where they're coming from. I may not know what they've been through in that moment or in that lifetime or in that childhood. And so I always try to, what could they be thinking? I don't want to go to worst case scenario, and it just happened to me this weekend where there was a communication and I thought about the motives. And then I went, well, wait, there could be this motive or that motive. It doesn't have to be one motive. And don't go there to a negative mindset first. And I really never go to a negative mindset. But I hope you know what I mean. It's like sometimes we go, uh-oh, they have an intention. And maybe their intention is not what we assume it is, even if it's someone who has given us not the best intentions before. And so it's very important to kind of try as much as you can to understand where people are coming from. And that we're all just, doing our best in this 3-dimensional reality. Now, there are no victims. And over the last few days, and also probably weeks, months, years, there have been people that like to be a victim, like to speak like a victim, like to complain. When you complain, you get back more to complain about. It's truth, it's reality, it's energy. And the thing is, there are times in my humanity that I like to say, oh, you're just being a victim right now. So many victims on this page. Oh, the victims. And you're not one. But what I'm doing is I'm speaking to someone who is not open to hearing what I have to say. If they were, it would be different. And so what I've learned is to watch the environment I find myself in. When there are a lot of victims around me, and I'm again talking personally, not professionally. Okay. When there are a lot of victims around me, I back up and get out of the energy. Because they're not living in a reality that is a reality. The reality is they have the power over their lives to create whatever they want, and they're putting out victim, and they're going to get more to complain about. But they would say, but it's reality. I see it with my eyes. I feel it. I see the bills. I see this going on. You see it from your perception, not from how it truly is. I'm going to repeat that. You see your outer life from your perception, not how it really is. I spoke last week about how I traveled. And if I'd gone through these travels with an expectation, I probably would have seen more of the expectation, but I went in wide open. And I saw that we were more alike than we were different. The only difference was our environment. Our environment. If you are only exposed to certain beliefs, that's what your beliefs will be. So always open up and test your beliefs if you wish to change them. Because you'll see change in your environment if you do so for the better. Now back to your departed loved ones. So they're energy, as you are energy. And they are tied in and tuned in. So with that energy, they will often show themselves in energetic ways. They may make your phone act up. They may make the lights act up. They may make the static up. They may make the TV have static. They can make a song appear timely because radios are energy. It doesn't matter if pennies disappear. They will make a penny show up if they want to. They can get it from some place to bring it to you, to cross over the veil with it. They can come around as their personality, which smoked or wore perfume. Or I often find with grandmothers a soft, comforting smell, often what their clothes were washed in, or something they sprayed on their hair. And this is their personality walking around you as energy. And energy goes on for eternity. You cannot abolish energy, as you cannot die. I actually don't like the word death. It's really, in the tarot cards, in the tarot deck, just positive change. And so keep that in mind. You cannot be extinct. You cannot stop. There is not just one life. There is this current life that you are focusing on, but you get more than one. And that always made sense to me as a very small child. I always knew that I've had more than one. Because, gosh, for some of us it's incredibly short. And for some of us it feels incredibly long. But, well, that's not really fair, is it? For someone to have an incredibly short life and then that's all they got? No. It's about creation. It's about exploring. It's about experiencing. We get around. And our loved ones get around too, who are in heaven. But they also can visit us whenever they want. Now, the biggest complaint I get is that I don't think they're around me. I'm not perceiving them. They're not giving signs. Yes, they are. You just are not noticing them because you're looking too hard, or your fear, or your fear. I'll go to fear again. You're afraid to believe the signs too, or fear they're not there, or you're too caught up in your everyday life that you're not noticing, or most of the time, and I may have said this already, you're looking too much. And we just thicken the veil when we're looking too much. We make it where they're signs, we can't perceive them. But they're always giving signs. And basically, if you can't explain it, it's heaven. It's usually magical in some way. I always love to tell the story of the time I actually asked for a coin sign because I don't generally get them. And I was out of town, and I was staying at a timeshare with a king-size bed. And if you saw me in person, you would see I'm quite petite. And I have become that way in my life. And so I don't sleep in the middle of beds because it's too much effort to get out of them. And I certainly don't dump change in the middle because I'm not in the middle. So I'd asked for a coin sign that day, and then I went into town shopping. And I stopped at a shop that had one of those clear plastic covers over the counter. And when the cashier went to give my change back, a penny fell under that covering. And I said to the cashier, whoever can get it out, it's theirs. And I went about my business. When I came back at the end of the day into my room with my purchases, there was a shiny penny in the middle of the king-size bed. I had no maid come in. I had not spoken of that penny. with anybody that would know to put a penny there that could beat me into the room, who had a key to get into the room. All right, so I knew it was heaven, and I went, well done. Thank you. They heard me. That is the greatest gift ever, when you know you're heard. But know this, that you're heard all the time. And they don't, yes, they come on their birthdays, they come on your birthdays, they come at their weddings, they show up at their funerals, they definitely show up at their own funerals. But they don't need a special occasion like All Souls Day to come and see you. They're with you every day and every night. And when they're not standing next to you, they hear you. And they hear you for who you truly are, not the moments we can have. Oh yeah, they can hear you cranky, but they know why you're cranky. So they are loving the person you truly are, that is going through something that makes them cranky, or has gone through a story that's made them cranky. That pure inner child is who they're with. That pure young, if it's a spouse, that young bride or young groom, that's who they're with. They're not with you being all dodgy and cranky and, complaining and such. They know. They wish you weren't that way. They wish you would let go of it. But you don't. You don't lose them, and they don't. And you leave them more than they would ever leave you. They just don't. So today on All Souls Day, if you listen to this today, and it doesn't matter at any point when you listen to this, throw up a hello to your loved ones, all of them, non-biological and biological. Let them know how you feel about them. If you're angry with them, let them know. But especially let them know you love them. Let them know you miss them. Let them know that you want them around, and then let it go. Let it go. And then see what you see. See what you feel. See what you know after that. It may take a few days. You may never perceive it that you feel. But they are there no matter what, because love, all caps, is eternal, and it always has to express itself. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all the many blessings, all the best, warmest thoughts. And once again, go to my website, lisahop.com. And also, if you're listening to this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. I see my subscribers ticking up. I have to do more videos, more postings. I know, I do. Heaven is nagging me. Okay, so it's not my ego that says I have to do that. It's not my head. It's literally heaven saying, you need to be out there more. So I must obey. I must honor that, because I'm here to serve. So please stay tuned. And also, again, Instagram and anywhere you listen to, any platform, no matter what it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all more than you know. Have a blessed Sunday, a blessed week, and I'll talk to you next time.